Hello, John Bloodworth Gentleman Crafter here again with another card layout. This time I am loving you every day. This particular layout uses the papers from first edition in a pad called Gardenia. Some wonderful papers here, especially if you're looking for mail cards. So this is the layout that I will be using, and here are some of the bits that I've gathered together to make this card. Lots of dies involved with this one. And these are the two papers that I chose from the paper pad. Time to start chopping up, and if you need the downloadable template with all of the dimensions on, as ever it will be available on my blog, which is gentlemancrafter.com. I'll leave a link in the description below the video on YouTube, which hopefully will send you directly to the relevant post rather than you having to wade through all of the other bits and pieces. Although feel free to have a look around while you're there. Now I've cut the main paper to 6x4 to match the card size, and I'm using the bookbinding glue from Pinflair to stick that down. I like to try and line up one corner and one edge before I commit, and that helps put things in place. Now for the 4 paper strips, and just before I get ahead of myself, I'm basically trying to do this so that I get all the flat layers down first, and then they can have chance to sit and dry under something heavy, so that I have a flat card at the end of this. I'm using the gridded ruler to help me space things out, although I did find when I was doing this that the tones of the papers are quite similar, so I had to really make sure and even put on my specs. If I did this again, I might have chosen something a bit more contrasting from the background. I think it just adds a little something to it, just having those strips. Okay, now the circle I've already pre-punched, and that's just using a giant punch. Of course, you could use dies or whatever you've got available. I'm positioning it and then making a couple of marks and then chopping that bit off with my paper trimmer. Easy as that. In the past, I've raised this bit up, but on this occasion, I'm going to stick it flat to the card. And then, as I said, I'm going to chuck this off to one side. Okay, time for the stamping and the tag. These stamps are from Simon Says Stamp. Can't remember the name of the pack, but it all revolves around the word be, B-E. So be thankful, be you, be amazing, and all that. But I chose to put several of the words together to come up with the sentiment that you saw on the card, which was loving you always. A nice different sentiment, I think, to send a bit of heartfelt gratitude. Now, I'm not sure if I got these lined up, so I did a quick test print, and I found that the word you was wonky. So, as opposed to loving you always or forever, whatever it was, I adjusted the stamp, turned my bit of card over rather than waste a bit, and restamped. There we go. So I am going to position and stick the die down, but I'm not going to die cut it just yet. I'll leave the ink to dry for a bit while I fiddle around with other bits and pieces. Okay, I've got my coloured paper strips and all of the dies that I'm going to use to create the focal point here. So you can see I've got quite a few tones of red, and then obviously the green for the foliage. So I'm just currently sorting the dies, and then pow, they're all chopped out. And I ran the sentiment through as well at the same time. And then bish bash bosh, I layered the flowers up and started figuring out where everything was going to go. To be honest, I wasn't even sure I was going to use all of these bits, but I kind of created a bit of a doodle before I started making this card, just to give myself a plan to work to, rather than sitting for hours and just fiddling. So there's bits and pieces going on. These dies are from all sorts of different manufacturers, so do have a look through your collection whenever you're creating cards, and just, put bits together that you think will work. They don't have to all be from the same brand, and they don't have to all be from the same card either. Mix it up with some paper punches or things you've cut using an electronic cutting machine, or even pre-cut bits and pieces. They work too. It's really about just creating an eye-catching focal point on the card. And I keep putting that big flower in just to make sure that it works alongside the other bits and pieces. And that's why I'm now sticking this small flower in where it was, because I thought there was a big blank space down the bottom right. I want the big flower to sit on top, so I'm just sticking all of the other bits down first. By the way, that glue is the same glue I'm using throughout. What I've done is I've just decanted it into a smaller bottle with a finer tip. Now foam pads to raise the big flower and the tag up, and then on they go. Just trying to stick that leaf down. And then the final bit, loving you every day. Okay, there we go. There's card layout number 64 and an idea for you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. That's it for this time. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section below. And for more from me in the future, please remember to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.